Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and welcome back to another battle in Rome 2 Total War. In today's battle, we have everything that is overpowered about Rome 2 in one single battle. We've got elephants, we've got scythe chariots, we've got scorpion towers, and we have the Kingdom of Kush itself. So I hope you guys do enjoy this battle, and without further ado, let's take a look at the army comps. The first attacking army on the battlefield today is Egypt, commanded by myself, and you can see that I have brought some pretty powerful units to the battlefield, but let's go ahead and take a look at what I have brought to the battlefield a little bit more closely. In the front lines here, just behind my siege towers, I have 8 units of the Nubian bowmen, followed closely behind by 4 units of the Thorac pikemen. And then for my infantry, the best infantry that I have brought is the Thorac swordsmen. I have 6 units of them. And then I have 6 units of Galatian swordsmen. I have 3 in reserve, and then I also have 3 that are on my siege towers over here to the right. So I've got 3 Galatian swordsmen on the towers, and then the other 5 towers are staffed with cheap Egyptian infantry. They're going to be my sacrificial lambs pushing the towers into position, and then I will follow up with some of my more heavily armored infantry. I've also got a couple units of the Sobek cultists. I really love these guys because of the alligator skins that they have. Very, very cool unit, so I have 2 of them. And then my cavalry is split into 2 wings. On the right-hand side, I have 2 units of the Ptolemaic cavalry. And then way over here on the left-hand side, I have 2 units of Egyptian cavalry. And then my best units obviously are held in reserve. I've got 2 units of the African war elephants. And then my general is on a scythed chariot as well. So that rounds out my army, so let's go ahead and take a look at my ally. The next attacking army on the battlefield today is also Egypt, and this one is commanded by the Red Celt, and he's brought a pretty well-rounded army, drawing from a lot of different types of units in the Egyptian roster. So just behind the siege towers, we've got 4 units of the Thurio spears, and then he also has 4 units of Egyptian pikemen. For his ranged units, he brought 4 units of Nubian bowmen like I have, but he also has 2 units of the mercenary Cretan archers as well. So he's got 6 archers total. He has 3 units of the mercenary leopard warriors. Pretty cool unit, you don't see them too often. And then for the cavalry, we brought 4 units of the Egyptian cavalry, and there is 1 unit of the Sobek cultists mixed in with the cavalry there. But yeah, he has 4 units of cavalry. And then over here, he has 4 units of Thorac swordsmen as well. And then on his siege towers, he's got them split up into 2 different flanks. And he's got 6 units of Egyptian infantry and 4 units of the Carian axemen. So he has 3 Egyptian infantry, 2 Carian axemen on this side, and 3 Egyptian infantry and 2 Carian axemen on this side. And for his heavy hitters at the back here, we've got 1 Greek onager, 1 African war elephant, and then we have 2 scythe chariots with his general being on a scythe chariot as well. And that rounds out the attacking Egyptian armies. So let's go ahead and take a look at the defenders. The first defending army on the battlefield today is the Kingdom of Kush, commanded by Azrian Fox, and the Kingdom of Kush has brought its best warriors back to defend the capital against the invading Egyptian army. So let's go ahead and take a look at what he has brought to the battlefield. In the front lines here, he has 5 units of the Shotel warriors, so they will be tasked with holding the walls against the invading Egyptians. And then he also has some of his best units down here as well, some armored Shotel warriors and a unit of Kushite pikes, no doubt to defend the strategic choke points here and the streets. He also has 5 units of Kushite archers down here as well, so they will be providing suppressing fire and hopefully supporting his infantry into the fight on the walls. And we also have some slave infantry here too. We've got 5 units of them being held in reserve. He's got his cavalry all over here, along with his allies. He's got 4 units of armored desert cavalry, and the rest of his troops are in the town center. So he has another unit of Kushite pikes and armored Shotel warrior here holding the choke point. He's got a couple units of the Royal Kushite archers, and then he has more pikes and Shotel warriors in reserve here in the town center, along with his general, which is the Royal Kushite Guard. And that wraps up the first Kingdom of Kush defender, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. The final defending army on the battlefield today is also the Kingdom of Kush, and this one is commanded by Aiden. And Aiden only has one unit in the town center, and that is his Kushite Royal Guard. The rest of his army is down below, ready to fight tooth and nail for these walls and not let any Egyptians onto them. But he has the same type of strategy as Azrian does. He's got his 3 units of Shotel warriors over here ready to go up onto the walls at a moment's notice. He's got 1 unit of armored Shotel warriors there on the far left-hand side. He's got the rest of his armored Shotel warriors here in a large block. So thankfully, I didn't bring any artillery for him, so he won't suffer from having all his units in one block like that. Not to mention that they're all hidden anyways. But over here, he has 4 units of Kushite pikes. And then he has 8 units of Kushite archers. And finally, his cavalry way over here. He's got 4 units of the armored desert cavalry. And this really smells like a sally out. This is going to be very painful for whoever has to deal with all 8 of these units of armored desert cavalry. But that's it for the army comps, guys. Let's go ahead and finally get to the battle. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and as you can see, I have already made a crucial mistake by deploying my entire army within range of the Kushite walls. You can see those 2 massive onagers unleashing death and destruction upon my men, and it is all-out panic as I try to withdraw my entire army out of range of those onagers, which is surprisingly good. As I move my siege towers forwards, I'm still trying to micro them, getting them into position where I want them on the walls, and even some of my general unit gets hit. So I'm quickly trying to move back my scythe chariots and my elephants especially, because these are 3 units that I want to save for the endgame. I do not want them to be weakened or depleted by the time I'm able to push them into melee. And you can see that some of the shots are coming still quite close to them, rolling down this hilltop, so I'm going to need to withdraw my army even further. And I believe I do have to move my cavalry out of the way as well, because I believe he does start to focus down my cavalry. So I will move them over to where this cavalry unit is, and it's more protected because it has that little hilltop, but the hilltop is kind of a two-way street because it could... he could get a lucky shot onto the top of the hill, and then it would just roll back into my men, which is kind of what's happening here. He's hitting multiple targets at one time, so it's not really a good start for the Egyptians at this time. But if you're rooting for the Kingdom of Kush to hold on to their capital city and not be conquered by the Egyptians, then I guess it is a good start for them. Let's go ahead and zoom over top of this massive but glorious city and take a look at the Red Celt, who is undoubtedly moving forwards with his siege towers. Now, did he make the same mistake that I did? Yes, he did. So it looks like he lost some of his cavalry here. He lost some of his thorax. Are those thorax swordsmen? It looks like it might be. Oh, and he lost a lot over here. It looks like some of his Egyptian pikemen. That is very unfortunate, but it looks like most of his units are out of range of the onagers now, which is good. And as I say that, he loses one of his Greek onagers. That is not good at all. Azrian Fox is a crack shot with artillery, especially wall artillery, so Red Celt better watch that and try and pull that artillery piece a little further back. And the same with his elephants too, which are right behind. But he is moving forwards his siege towers. Now, it looks like we've got a quality versus quantity game here. The Red Celt obviously is favoring the quantity side of things. He's got, looks like 10 siege towers moving up onto the walls, but from what we remember in the army compositions, we only saw 3 units of Shotel warriors that would be tasked with holding the walls, so it'll be interesting to see which side is favored, the quantity or the quality in this wall fight. However, that being said, these are not ordinary arrow towers. These are scorpion towers, so they actually have scorpions within them, and we'll see a couple of good shots later on in the battle where they just obliterate infantry units. Like, every shot, if it gets a good shot, it'll kill 3, 5, maybe 7 men. So pretty powerful defenses for the capital city of Kush here. Let's go ahead and zip over to the other side and see how I'm making out. I should be getting close to the walls here, but some of my siege towers are already starting to smoke, which is not a very good thing. And we do have some of the Shotel warriors here. They're already on the walls, ready to receive the Egyptians and cut them to pieces. Look at the terrified souls as they push forwards and they see the famed Shotel warriors on the walls, ready to rip them to shreds. Few more feet, and then we will have engaged. Thankfully, a lot of their Pila is being blocked by the siege tower, which is good, but not anymore. Now that the door has opened, the Egyptian infantry are just being annihilated. Quick, boys, charge! Get down onto the walls, stop them from firing. There you go. We've got some other siege towers over there as well, pushing forwards. And my game right now is really to try and capture these towers. These towers are incredibly powerful, and I had no idea that we had them selected as Scorpion Towers until the battle already began. So not only are we dealing with the onagers that are up on the walls, but we're dealing with Scorpion Towers as well. And the defenders know that, and they are going to be defending them to the best of their abilities. You can see we've also got some Shotel warriors over here on this flank defending. I've got some of my Galatian swordsmen pushing over here. I've got 2 more over here as well, but it looks like they're kind of caught or glitched on this tower. But I believe I do fix that eventually. Let's go ahead and run over to the other side and see how the Red Celt is doing. He's actually getting up onto the walls without much trouble whatsoever. Very interesting. So Azrian Fox actually going for the strategy of not holding the walls at all and allowing the Red Celt to get up onto the walls. That will mean that he might have a better chance at taking over the towers. You can see if they're up on the walls, they do start to capture the towers. But the Shotel warriors down below, there's a little capture zone there as well. So they will be able to hopefully hold it, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like the Arrow Tower may be captured by the Red Celt, and that will be extremely helpful for the Red Celt, because then the Arrow Towers will begin, or I should say the Scorpion Towers will begin to fire down onto the defenders. We've got some pretty good defenses here by Azrian Fox. This is a really good position with his pikemen, because as the Egyptian infantry comes off the walls, they're going to be slaughtered by those pikemen. So yeah, it looks like that's the strategy he's going for. Meanwhile, on the other side, Aiden is just going very heavy on the defense for the walls, which I think is a good plan for him, because he can hold those strategic Scorpion Towers for longer and get more kills on my men. Come on, Egyptian infantry. There we go. We've got one of the Shotel warriors surrounded, and he is cut down. Come on, men. Come on. Let's turn on the HUD so you guys can see the state of things here. But yes, you can see my entire army is moving forwards pretty aggressively to this right side. And that is because I noticed that there are 8 armored desert cavalry units just outside the walls. So of course, all 8 units are going to be focused on me. This is very dire straits, because I'm still moving my troops up onto the walls, so they're susceptible to charges, and a lot of my infantry would be exposed because I am outnumbered 2-to-1 in the cavalry department. I've got 2 units of Ptolemaic cavalry, which are pretty solid, but my 2 units of Egyptian cavalry over here are garbage. And the reason I have them over here is because I can see that they would be able to come up here and flank around and maybe hit some of my units in the back. So I'm quickly trying to get them up onto the walls, but I've also got some troops there to stop them should they try and do that. I'm redeploying some Thorax swordsmen over there to capture that hill point and make sure that they're not able to do that. And the rest of my units are pretty much just formed up and ready for the inevitable pain. Forward. There goes the pikemen into position, ready to hold the front lines, and then my cavalry will be holding the flanks. I believe that the Red Celt was going to send over some cavalry as well. Not yet, but I think he does send over some cavalry, but then changes his mind. But we'll take a look at that later on. I think we were worried that they might actually have more cavalry than what I saw outside the walls, so he ends up bringing them back. But here we go. We've got a pretty brutal fight in the streets here. the Carian Axemen taking on the Shotel Warriors. But the Shotel Warriors are definitely the better melee fighters in this situation. And same thing over here, I'd imagine. Look at all the dead here, though. Oh, man, the Red Celt losing so many of his Egyptian infantry to these Kushite pikemen. An excellent position for Azrian Fox here. Pretty much has the entire unit backed up against the wall. And I would not be surprised, yeah, they are broken. And this unit over here of Egyptian infantry is wavering as well under the might of the Shotel Warriors, who are just racking up kills. So really good strategy over here by Azrian Fox, not actually holding the walls. The arrow towers are actually just neutralized as well, so they're not firing in Azrian's favor, but then again, they're not firing in the Red Celt's favor either. He has a unit up over top of the gate to try and silence them as well, but he needs to push up some more troops pretty quickly because his first wave is diminishing. Over here as well, you can see that I am not faring much better. I've got my Galatian swordsmen over here, but they are losing decisively to the armored Shotel warriors. And the Kushite archers here, they just have excellent positioning to fire up and over and then into the backs of my Galatian swordsmen. One of the units, it looks like, has already been routed, and the second one is not far off, already down to 54 men. The Shotel warriors up to 138 kills. That is absolute insanity. And the Kingdom of Kush, it's such a good faction attacking, but it's also such a good faction defending, too. It's pretty insane. They've got good infantry, they've got good cavalry, good shock infantry for sure. There we go, charging in to just finish off the remains of my Galatian swordsman here. And yes, this is where I start to tighten up a little bit. I almost formed this noob box outside because I am deathly scared of all of this cavalry. But I do notice that there's only 6 there now, so it looks like 2 have been peeled off to go somewhere else. So I think that's when the Red Celt was planning to send me some of his cavalry, but then changed his mind and brought them back because 2 units could move over here to start harassing the Red Celt if he does send all his cavalry over to me. We've got more troops being committed over here. As you can see, we've got a lot of the slave infantry moving in. We also had the Red Celt who is moving up some of his archers up onto the walls. I think that's a really good decision because he'll be able to focus down the armored Shotel warriors at range. But what is this? Do we have a sally out here? Are they sallying out these slave infantry? No, they're not. Okay, so they're just forming up at the gates. Yeah, fair enough. How am I doing over here? Not that good. You can see that, yeah, we've pretty much been annihilated on the walls. If I turn on the HUD here, I actually had some Nubian bowmen, which I didn't need to send up on the walls. I didn't want them to go up there, but they got slaughtered anyways. But I do have a lot of my Nubian bowmen here. I'm trying to focus the armored Shotel warriors here, but Aiden has got them in really good defensible positions where I can't really get a hold of them, which is unfortunate. And yeah, here's the other 2 units of armored desert cavalry, so I guess they were ready to go against me anyways. So we've got 6 outside, and then we have 2 on the inside. So it's pretty desperate times over here. The balance of power was with us at the beginning, but it is not anymore. I have lost so many troops trying to take the walls here. If you just take a look at the bodies littered, you can see some Shotel shields on the ground, for sure, but most of them are the blue and white of my Egyptian infantry. And I think these were slave infantry over here too, but with the help of the Scorpion Tower, yeah, they just annihilated me. And those Kushite bows too. I think if we turn on the HUD, yeah, this one's up to 264 kills. My goodness, how about this one? 99 kills there, 131 there, and this one to 74. So Aiden really effectively using his archers over on this side. And those armored Shotel warriors brushed off the 17 casualties they took and slayed 65 of my Galatian swordsmen there. Absolutely brutal exchanges. Yeah, look at this. The Egyptian infantry that have routed here, they just don't even know what to do. They're just stuck here. But I need to conquer the walls. I need to capture the gates so that I can move in my African war elephants and my Scythe chariots. I can also move in my Ptolemaic cavalry as well. But until I capture those walls, I cannot do anything. So I'm forced now to push my Thorax swordsmen up onto the walls to try to do battle with the Shotel warriors. You can see this unit of Galatian swordsmen. Thankfully, the combat is even here. But for how long, I don't know. Also, the other bad thing is that you can hear the pepper of the arrows coming down on the backs of my units. Oh, yeah, a lot of the Egyptian infantry being cut down there on the walls. The Shotel warriors, of course, very zealous, defending their home from the invaders. How are we looking over here? Oh, yeah, so we've got all the slave infantry here up at the front lines. We've got some of the... Are these Thorax swordsmen? Yes, we got some Thorax swordsmen coming onto the walls. They were going to use their ranged weapon to destroy these Shotel warriors, but Azarian has noticed that, and he's sending his Shotel warriors up to challenge the Thorax swordsmen on the walls. We got a nice duel over there. This Thorax swordsman really working hard. He's actually pushed the Shotel warrior outside the wall, but he's come back in, and there we go, taking off his leg before rejoining the fray. The Thorax swordsmen should be a match for the Shotel warriors, but they would not be a match for the armored Shotel warriors. Wow, wow, wow. And if we turn on the HUD, the battle, 24 minutes left in the battle, so it's not even halfway through, and I have lost over half my army. And here we go, I'm starting to send my Thorax swordsmen up onto the walls. This is pretty much the last of my infantry that I have left. The Galatians and the Egyptians all but slaughtered up on the walls. And my Egyptian cavalry just waiting for those gates to open so that they could pour on through. Climb to the top, men. You will find the bodies of your fallen comrades. And the Shotel warriors still holding on the walls. Here we go, though. We got some Thorax swordsmen pushing in. Come on, boys. You must take the walls, or this is a lost campaign. Cavalry still eyeing me hungrily over here as well. It's only 4 units, so where did the other ones go now? Because we've got 2 over here, so maybe 2 have gone over to the Red Celt side. No, it doesn't look like it, so I'm not exactly sure where the other ones went. But yeah, the Red Celt actually looking like he's making a bit of headway, although the Shotel warriors are recapturing this tower here and chasing the Thorax swordsmen back to their siege towers. We've also got some Shotel warriors here as well, which are going to flank this unit of Thorax swordsmen. They will be cut down if that unit of Shotel warriors is able to charge them in the back. And taking a look at what the Red Celt has left, so he's got his cavalry still left. It looks like he's moving up some Egyptian infantry on a ram. And he's got his mercenary leopard warriors, he's got his pikemen, and he has his Thurio spears as well. And of course his heavy hitters, but he can also not use his heavy hitters until we capture that gate. We need that gate to be open. Any luck capturing the walls over here? I'm pushing my Thorax swordsmen up over here. The Shotel warriors are starting to take quite a few casualties. 229 kills to their name, but they're down to 35. I think my Nubian bowmen have been desperately firing at them as well. Same with this unit of Shotel warriors, but look at the arrows coming in. Let's put that on slow motion and see that volley again. You can even see some of the Thorax swordsmen fighting with arrows stuck in them. I just want to see that volley again and just watch my Thorax swordsmen just melt away before my eyes. Come on, Shotel warriors. Here we go, here we go. Oh my goodness. 6 or 8 casualties with that volley. More Nubian bowmen firing in. Doesn't look like they're getting a lot of friendly fire either, which is what I really need at this point. Because my Nubian bowmen are not doing very well on the outside of the city, but the Kushite bowmen inside the city are doing fantastic. And look at this guy just going ham. He's like 5v1. He's getting a bit of friendly fire, but he doesn't even care. Oh, there we go. The great, proud Kushite warrior falls. Very unfortunate for him. But not before this unit gets obliterated. Down to 88 men. I've got 14 kills to my name. And that unit is pretty much wiped out. And I'm sending more lambs to the slaughter as well. And here we go. Looks like we've got the cavalry pushing out once again. I am down to pretty much my units of Thorak pikemen. I've got a couple of Nubian bowmen left, and my cavalry and heavy hitters. My infantry has all been expended trying to take these walls, and the balance of power, I would say, is now against us. But it looks like I am finally going to be able to start capturing this Scorpion Tower here. I've got some Nubian bowmen pushing up onto the walls, and Aiden is starting to withdraw his armored Shotel warriors. So I guess he doesn't want to be in range of those Nubian bowmen, which is a pretty smart play. Looks like a lot of them are kind of withdrawing here. We've got this unit of armored Shotel warriors, which is using their Pila, trying to throw up onto the walls. Not sure how successful that is. But yeah, it looks like we've got a withdrawal of the Kushite forces, so I think they're finally going to give me the walls, but not before we have all 8 units of cavalry back outside and behind my lines. So this is desperate, and Aiden and Azrian both know that my infantry has pretty much been expended at this point. So yeah, this is dire straits for me. And, oh man, I could really use the Red Celts cavalry. Could really use it right now. But it's just sitting over here. So I'm basically fighting, losing battle against the cavalry as well. Here we go. Let's put it on a slow motion here as the great Egyptian cavalry challenges the Kushite cavalry. Oh, and they actually stopped, so they didn't get a very good charge off, and that means that my super heavy Shah cavalry would have got a really solid charge there. This one is able to soak up a charge from 2 units, it looks like. And then I'm engaging over here with my Egyptian cavalry as well. Charging in there, and hopefully this unit I'll get a charge off. Yes, just in time. Excellent. So a huge cavalry brawl outside the city here. And do I have all of them engaged? Kind of. One of them is kind of running around over here. It's going to get a pretty solid charge into my pikemen, and they're not ready. They don't have their pikes down. The archers, though, just unleashing a really good volley on that cavalry unit, and thankfully they didn't do too much damage to my pikemen. That's a lot of damage. They did a lot of damage to my pikemen. And now he's breaking through, going after my archers, which is unfortunate. The elephants are being pushed into melee outside the city walls as well. So I'm sending in everything I have at this point. The scythe chariots are going in. Elephants are going in. My pikemen are going in. Even my bows are fighting in melee. Oh my goodness, what a crazy battle this has been so far. Elephants just pushing in, trying to hold the cavalry in place as well. Let's go ahead and put it back onto play. And with that side charge from the elephants, actually breaking some of the armored desert cavalry, this unit that took a full charge from my Ptolemaic cavalry has broken as well. And the side chariots coming in behind the armored desert cavalry, that has broken them. So it looks like the cavalry engagement is actually turning around for me, which is very surprising. Over here, I'm completely surrounding this unit of armored desert cavalry, but they've got 100 kills to their name. That is quite a bit for them. I would have liked to see them get less kills. And the balance of power, yeah, definitely against us, but thankfully a lot of the cavalry has been destroyed here. We've got 2 units of the armored desert cavalry flanking around. One with 5 kills and one with no kills. So yeah, I think I'm trying to get these 2 units of Egyptian cavalry to lock them in melee. But we actually got 3 units over there. And my war elephants are moving back into position. I'm not sure if I've captured this gate yet. I think that I have. Yes, I think that it's mine. It is, and I noticed that immediately, so I am quickly sending my elephants in. We'll take a look at what goes on over here, and then we'll take a look at what is going on the Red Celt side in a minute. But I just want to witness the great elephants coming through here. All we have to stop us are a few Kushite bowmen as well. And I think the Kushite bowmen have used up most of their ammunition. Here we go. A very justified charge into the Kushite bows. 1 unit going forwards, and then I think I do try to peel off another unit to go for the other bow unit. There we go. And I'm just going to push right through. I don't even want these guys to slow me down. The second unit already hitting that other unit of bows. But this is what I really want to go for. Look at all of this infantry that's quickly trying to withdraw to the town center. That's what I really want to hit. We've also got some Kushite archers here that are trying to withdraw. Some armored Shotel warriors. Let's go ahead and slow it down here. And just watch the elephants run rampaging into all of these units. I think these 2 units of Kushite archers had ammunition left as well, which is super unfortunate. And over here, yeah, these elephants just rushing forwards after obliterating that unit of Kushite bows. There we go. Yeah, we've also got one of the armored Shotel warrior units that was trying to escape back to the town center, and they have run full force into my elephants as well. Nicely done, elephants. Nicely done. And over here, too, we've got the elephants charging for the town center. A lot of his units are getting away, which is unfortunate. He was able to see it in time and retreat most of his forces. We've also got a unit of Kushite pikemen, which we're trying to withdraw as well. They don't have their pikes down, though, so these elephants have just destroyed the unit. Look how many were run over there. And they are finally getting their pikes down now, but it is far too late. That unit has just been annihilated. Yeah, quickly dropping. That's on slow motion, too. So yeah, there we go. There we go. Down to 66. They did manage to kill one of my elephants, though, which is unfortunate. And then over here as well, I've got to put this on slow motion. Sorry for all the slow motion, guys, but all of these units here were almost caught like in pathfinding on that rock. And just look at my elephants forging a bloody path up to the town center here, leaving nothing but death and destruction in their wake. Look how many kills they got moving up the slopes. Oh my goodness, that was just so good after all of the losses that I took trying to get up onto the walls and the cavalry engagement on my side. It was just so good to just rush up the slopes and pretty much annihilate everything in my wake. And yeah, so he did get a lot of his armored Shotel warriors back to the town center, which is definitely good for him. And we've got the fire arrows coming over here now, but yeah, still caught a lot of his Shotel warriors and his bows in melee, which is excellent. And I think, yeah, my other elephants are moving forwards now. We can go ahead and turn it back onto play. But yeah, look at the damage that the elephants have done over here. So all of these units were killed by my elephants. So this unit of elephants is up to 502 kills. And then with this huge amount of kills here, this elephant unit is up to 545 kills. And I am continuing to push in. Like a lot of the Kushite pikes, you can see that they're in melee, but they don't even have their pikes out. So this is a huge problem for the Kushite defenders, because now they don't have anything to be able to mount a defense over here. So they're kind of stuck with a lot of their units in big blobs like this. So Aiden is really suffering over here. I'm pushing into all these Kushite archers too, because I know that the Kushite archers with fire ammunition are a death sentence for my elephants, so I'm trying to wrap them up quickly. In hindsight, I maybe should have come and crashed into all of the Shotel warriors, the armored Shotel warriors. And yeah, here I go. I turn around to go after them as I see them pushing away. Very, very good. And Azrian at this point, I think, is starting to send some units over to help out and just hold some choke points. There we go. We've actually got the General's bodyguard who has moved in to melee to slow the charge of these elephants. But there we go. We've got another volley from those Kushite bowmen, but I decide I'm going to go and crash into this unit of Shotel. Or is this Shotel warriors here? Oh, Kushite pikes, yes. Without their pikes drawn or down. So that was a huge mistake for whoever had these pikemen here. They weren't actually in the position they should have been with their pikes down. And that unit was just annihilated. Again, yep. Really doing a good job, though, with the general holding my elephants in check. And now he's starting to form up a little bit more. But now I've got my Egyptian cavalry in the mix over here, fighting the armored Shotel warriors. I'm just pushing in anything that I can to keep them from formulating some form of defense. Here comes my Ptolemaic cavalry. And there they go. Don't know why they're leaving, but they are. But yeah, just trying to keep them from formulating a defense here. And I think my other unit of elephants, have they moved in already? They must already be in. Yeah, I think they already are in. Yeah, 954 kills on that one, just as it leaves. And this one with 963. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I don't have any more elephants, so that was it. So very, very productive, and just like that, the balance of power is back in our favor. And yeah, you can see that Azrian has evacuated everything from his side of the battlefield. We did have a huge battle over here, it looks like, but this is a lot of the slave infantry that has been annihilated. So finally, the Red Celt is able to move some troops into the city, but most of Azrian's troops have formed a defense just outside of the town center. He's withdrawing pretty much all forces back to the town center after this disastrous situation here with my elephants. But it looks like Aiden has kind of gotten a grips of the situation. He's now got a proper defense here, which is good to see. He's got his armored Shotel warriors here. He's, I believe one of their generals is in melee, which isn't ideal. He should probably try and withdraw them, but I think he's trying to stop my Ptolemaic cavalry from sneaking around the flanks, because you can see I've got some of my Ptolemaic cavalry over here fighting the remains of these armored Shotel warriors. Well, my pikemen are moving in as well, and we do have some depleted units of Kushite pikes, but unfortunately they're being sent right in. They're not even going into pike wall, so that is interesting. But yeah, my Ptolemaic cavalry were able to break in behind enemy lines, and I'm going to just start hammering the backs of these armored Shotel warriors here. Here we go. Here's a good charge. A depleted unit, but still does a lot of damage. And here comes another one, too, into the backs of these Kushite pikemen. Nicely done there. Nicely done. But now Azrian's troops have arrived. You can see we've got a lot of armored Shotel warriors here from Azrian Fox. We've got both the generals up here, and we've got some Royal Kushite archers, which are going to start raining down on my Ptolemaic cavalry and get them off the battlefield, which is definitely good for the defenders. And I do have my scythe chariots. I was going to try and push them in, but I decided against it. I'm going to bring them back down the slopes here. I hope I didn't get any friendly fire pulling them through my pikemen like that, but it looks like I did. Yeah, I don't think I took any casualties on these guys before I did that. And now it's 114 and 137. But yeah, at this point, I think some of the Kushite archers were actually focusing down my general. So I withdrew him back far enough from the archer's range. And I need to start pushing in my pikemen, but I don't want to push in too many where they stop being effective. There we go. Come on, Thorak pikemen, come on. Slaughter the Kushites. We've got some of the Kushite pikemen there, just behind the armored Shotal warriors. And there we go, we've got some more of the Kushite archers moving in, trying to get into range of my general. Just look at the amount of Kushite warriors still left. Yeah, many rows still left. And it looks like they're actually withdrawing. That's a very smart idea because they're withdrawing their units so that they can fire on them with the archers, which is really frustrating. And over here as well, Aiden, he had a unit of Kushite archers, which he got up on the wall, and I hadn't noticed that. And he begins firing down on my general's bodyguard, and I do not notice this for the longest time. Really unfortunate because I was saving those scythe chariots for later. But I'm moving forward as my own Nubian bowman, but this is pretty much all that I have left, guys. This is my entire army just outside the town center. Look at that, we are already starting to waver. Look at the damage, down to 4-3. There we go. So, firing on my general's bodyguard. That was so unfortunate. I was a little bit salty, not gonna lie, when I saw that happening. Yeah, because I think he does not come back. So, a unit that really could have gotten a lot of kills for me, unfortunately, just didn't pay off. So at this point, I need to start pushing in my pikemen to challenge their pikemen. And over here, the Red Celt is starting to move forwards as well, but a lot more slowly. He does have his artillery piece, which is firing up the slopes at the defenders. You can see not getting too many shots meeting their mark. It's a really hard angle there. And he also has to stay a very far distance back because these are also Scorpion towers. So actually, if we zoom in here, you can see, yeah, look how many they're knocking back with just that one shot. Look at that. Boom! Knocks back like 3 or 4 of them in a single shot. And yeah, see, not a very good angle. Azrian Fox actually has a really solid defense here, actually tucked in behind the tower, so that the Greek onager really isn't in a solid position. However, the archers from the Red Celt are doing some good damage to the armored Shotal warriors, and it looks like we have a desperate charge from the slave infantry down the slopes here, going to try and get into melee with the Nubian bowmen and silence them. That's actually a really good play. It doesn't look like the Red Celt noticed that until just too late. And there we go. Yeah, half the unit is locked in melee, but we've got the elephants coming up here. We've got the elephants. He needs to keep pushing them, though. Push them up all the way. This is a huge cluster of units here. The pikemen aren't in position. Yes, Red Celt, come on. Come on. Oh, don't go berserk. No, they went berserk. They're out of control. How frustrating. Oh, and they've already lost so many of their unit too, but they do have 972 kills so far. That is really solid, but they probably lost a lot of their hit points, so that's why they're taking so much damage. Man, those Kushite bows really saving them there, and also giving Azrian Fox enough time to get his Kushite pikemen into position there. Yeah, moving right out of the way so that the Kushite pikes will take the brunt of the elephant attack. But he's got to get these Shotal warriors out of the way. Oh, the elephants are coming in. Here we go. Yes, still getting hit, but that's got to just... Yeah, they're probably gone there. Oh, out of control. They got a couple more kills, but I think that's going to be the Red Celts. That's going to be the Red Celts. African war elephants off the battlefield for good. So a valiant effort, but unfortunately those Kushite bows just meeting their mark. Over here, the Kushite bows are also causing me some trouble. Really hitting hard on my Thorak pikemen, so I've had to push them in pretty aggressively, which is not really what I had wanted to do. Come on. Brave Egyptians. You've gotten this far, you can still win us the day and conquer the Kushite people. So much death and destruction, though. And balance of power is starting to actually slip away from us. With 5 minutes left in the battle, I think they might just have too much left. We've got the Kushite Royal Guard actually moving up over here as well. Let's jump into his point of view. Coming over here with probably a bloody vengeance, considering how many warriors he lost. And we can't really see through the trees where they're going, but I think he is trying to get a charge on my Nubian bowmen as soon as my pikemen break. Yeah, moving out of range, but my Nubian bowmen are going to start focusing him down, I believe, in retribution for the Kushite bows slaying my general there. Kushite pikemen are readjusting here to hold on the flank. Look at all the bows there, too. And more Thorak pikemen coming into the mix as well. My unit's breaking and then returning. Come on, you can do it. All my units too, their morale is not the best because the general cowardly fled the battlefield there as well. He did not return. So him and like 2 units of his bodyguard just left the Egyptian army to die pretty much. And now I realize that this is probably not going to be a win for us. So I just decide to send in what's left of my infantry into melee for one glorious battle against the Kushites. Let's get an overall view of that too. There we go. More of my Egyptians fleeing. You cowards! Come back! And the slave infantry as well. Slave infantry just cutting down my men. There we go too. We've got the Kushite general in the mix, getting a good charge on the backs of my Thorak pikemen. And how we looking over here? I don't think that the Red Celt is doing very well either. No, Azrian is actually pushed down the slopes with his general's bodyguard, catching his archers in melee and pretty much annihilating them. And it looks like he's just going to go right around the pikemen, which is interesting. What else could he be going for? The catapult crew, I guess? Yeah, it looks like he is just going to wipe out that catapult crew. No mercy there, not even slowing down.
That man is annoying!
That man is annoying! And now he's got his general behind the Red Celt's lines too, so even though these pikemen are formed up, he's probably going to charge them right in the back. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Come on, Red Celt, you got to turn these pikemen around. Oh no, that's the killing blow too. That's what Azrid was waiting for them to readjust. Where is he going for? Oh, he's hitting the backs of the Cretan archers. Interesting. Okay. That was a pretty good shot. Pretty good charge into those archers. And then he's going to try and disengage very quickly. Oh, but there we go. The Thurio Spear is getting a really solid volley with their Pila. He's got 221 kills with that general too, but there we go. All of the Egyptian cavalry is going to at least see that one of the Kushite warlords dies today. And I don't know exactly which one he would be, but that will see the end of Azrian's general. Very, very good. But yes, balance of power heavily against us now. I am being pretty much surrounded at this point. There's not much else I can do. Just a lot of my Nubian bowmen are in melee now. One of my units of Thorak pikemen are holding for now, but they won't be holding for much longer now that the rest of the armored Shotel warriors are starting to flank them. And we've got the general returning. That's Aiden's general there, just waiting for an opportunity to charge. He'll probably actually charge my pikemen in the flank. The flank is pretty exposed here. Oh man, we have to see some of these armored Shotel warriors just butchering my Nubian bowmen in melee. Oh yes, there we go. Get out of the way, tree. Is that all my units breaking? Oh yeah, I just completely shattered there. And that is the end. A costly enemy victory, but the Egyptians do not conquer the Kingdom of Kush, and the Kushites retain their independence for a little while longer. Let's go ahead and take a look at the end results. Alright guys, welcome to the end results screen here. So we'll take a look at my army versus Aiden's, because that's who I was battling, and then we'll take a look at Red Celt versus Azrian afterwards. So for me, you can see that my entire army was pretty much a big flop, except for my African war elephants, which participated in about 5 minutes of the battle and managed to get like 1800 kills. And my Ptolemaic cavalry, when they finally were able to get inside the city, they got some really solid rear charges in the town center and were able to rack up a decent amount of kills. But the scythe chariots, they were focused down, so I wasn't able to use them, unfortunately, and my Nubian bowmen just really didn't perform. They were vastly outperformed by the Kushite archers from Aden. Pretty much all my infantry was lost fighting for the walls, and not many kills to show for it. But Aden, on the other hand, his cavalry doing pretty garbage, whereas mine did not too bad. Except his general, 222 kills, well done there. But yeah, his Kushite archers with 96, 143, 236, 264, and 200 kills. But these three units that have really no kills at all were obliterated by my elephants as they tried to retreat to the town center. And it's the same with a lot of his pikemen. You can see that they barely got any kills as they were destroyed by the elephants. But the armored Shotel warriors definitely performing well, except for the ones that got hit by the elephant charge. The Kushite slave infantry, who were holding at that right side tower, doing really well, 111 kills. And the Shotel warriors doing excellent at slaughtering my infantry on the walls. Looking at the Red Celt versus Azrian, it's much of the same. For the Red Celt, his scythe chariots actually got 98 kills, which is okay, but his general not getting any. His Egyptian cavalry not doing too well. And again, most of his infantry just dying on the walls before they're able to rack up many kills. But the mercenary Cretan archers did really solid, 121 and 101 kills. And his African war elephants with 983. So actually, he had more kills with his elephants. Almost 1,000 kills with his elephants. That is insane. And as far as Azrians go, yeah, his armored desert cavalry didn't really perform well. Surprisingly, his general only got 33 kills. I would have thought it got more. But his archers doing pretty well too. Looks like actually four of them with over 100 kills. His armored Shotel warriors doing pretty solid. Kushite pikes, not so much. But his Shotel warriors, 355, 325, 254, 141. So really good there, holding the choke points just below the walls. And the slave infantry not doing too bad, one getting 75 kills. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the return of battles on my channel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And as always, I will see you in the next one.